brought up, Steve, there on pasture feeding and the difference in quality of milk. I should put out the disclaimer, I guess, that organic milk is, or organic regulations in general are a very complicated bunch of, or a complicated system with a lot of research out there that I can't cover in 10 minutes, so I'm going to try and do my best to do it justice. So first, I'd like everybody to just think about what do you think of when you think of organic milk? I'm sure you've been to the supermarket and seen there's huge organic sections now. It's very popular. Most people probably are thinking no antibiotics, no hormones, and no pesticides is just what it says on the label. But there's a lot more to it than that. If you had asked the question before 1990 what organic actually meant, you would have not gotten a straight answer because there wasn't really a definition to what organic was. In 1990, the USDA formed the National Organic Program, and by 2000, they had established the guidelines that they mostly use today. So when you purchase organic milk and it comes with a seal on it, you're guaranteed certain things. Those things include that the cow is fed 100% organic feed. That means that you can't feed them genetically modified organisms like BT corn or Roundup Ready corn. You can't feed them urea. You have to manage them that way for at least 12 minutes before you, or 12 months before, 12 months before you start selling that milk as organic. They can't be given growth hormones, so that means no RBST, and they can't be treated with antibiotics. This raises an issue, in my mind at least, for welfare concerns as to what do people do with their cows when they're sick if you can't use antibiotics. And typically, I think the answer to that is that they either ship them to a different herd or they just wait because it's probably cheaper to see if your cow gets better rather than treating it and not being able to use the milk for a year following that. The next requirement for organic milk is that the cows being sold as, or the milk being sold as organic has to be from cows that have pasture access year-round. And this is a recent addition to the requirements for organic milk because in the past, producers had allowed cows out to pasture, but maybe only once a month, not for any significant amount of time, but then they were still selling this as organic milk. So now the USDA says that these cows have to receive 30% of the dry matter during grazing season from pasture. Also, organic milk can't come into contact with non-organic milk. So, I mean, that's pretty obvious. You can't mix the two products together, and it can't be treated with ionizing radiation, which goes for any milk. So what do people think about organic? That's a big thing that we have to think about as dairy scientists. People ask us about what organic is. Well, according to a food market study, 60% of consumers in the U.S. believe organic milk is better for their health, and it's partly, or probably a lot, due to pictures like this that are floating around the internet showing the bovine growth hormone in your milk. Why are people choosing organic? Well, there's a number of reasons. Animal welfare is one of them. I mean, when cows are out pasture, they're happy cows. That's what people are thinking, and they're thinking that organic cows are raised that way, so they're choosing organic products. Some people are concerned with environmental factors. Pasture cow produces less methane per day than a conventionally fed cow. Some people prefer the taste of organic milk, and that may be partially due to the preparation or the pasteurization process that they use for producing organic milk. Organic is usually pasteurized with ultra pasteurized, and conventional milk is pasteurized high temperature short time. And a lot of people, I would say, are interested in just supporting local farmers when they purchase organic food or organic milk and food. And they're interested in getting local ingredients. Some people just feel better about purchasing organic milk, and that's a big driver for people. They feel like they're doing the right thing. And this shows, when you look at this is actually sales of all organic foods, and it's kind of difficult to distinguish organic foods from organic milk in cases because they're governed by the same program. But the sales in '97 were $3.6 billion, and in 2007 they've gone above $20 billion. And that's expected to continue. So people are obviously interested in organic products, and that's something we need to be aware of. But I mentioned that people are concerned about, the consumer is concerned about supporting local farmers. Is your organic milk coming from local products or a local farmer? Well, this isn't organic milk, but these are some common organic brand names: Kashi, Bare Naked, Wholesome and Hearty. Those products come from Kellogg's. Naked Juice, you've probably seen it in the store, comes from Pepsi. General Mills, Coca-Cola, Kraft, M&M's. These are the companies that are dominating the organic market right now. And is that really a bad thing? Well, it does mean changes in what organic actually means, but the fact of the matter is small producers can't meet the demands to supply the amount of milk that the country wants. So if we don't have these big producers, you're going to see signs like this where you're not able to actually buy your organic milk. Another concern I had when I was researching this is that, is your organic milk truly organic? A lot of people would think so, and this package here, Horizon Organic Milk, would lead you to believe that it is organic. But the DHA omega-3 there that they label on their box as supporting brain health is actually extracted from algae using hexane. So, I mean, that's something that people aren't really aware of. There's also a number of, you can use vitamins, as long as it's less than, or greater than 95% organic, it can be labeled as organic. And it has to be ingredients from the approved list. Well, that's where the big producers come in here. A lot of those approved list ingredients are being driven by the National Organic Program, which is heavily involved with big business now, and that's changing the face of what organic actually means. I read in an article that they're actually trying to push to be able to use genetically modified organisms as part of their production, as well as they already have one herbicide approved for use. So I don't know that. Whoa. There we go. Sorry. Anyways, so I think that's something that needs to be kept in mind about organic milk when you're speaking with people. So I started this talk wanting to know what it is people see when they search for organic milk on the internet. I mean, that's where the people coming to us are getting their information. They go to Google and Wikipedia here and search for organic milk. The information that they're getting is usually from one of two sides, and actually, unfortunately, the conventional dairy side is very underrepresented in the internet world. But the conventional argument is basically there's no difference. No difference between organic milk, nutritionally, quality, safety, it's all the same. They're producing a good product conventionally. The organic milk argument, though, is that we don't understand how herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, hormones, and conventional milk, especially in combination, can impact your long-term health. Well, I think that may be changing if some of these new ingredients are approved, but that's the summary of the internet in one page, I guess. So what do we actually find when we look at the science of organic? When you compare organic to conventional milk, there are differences in the milk. I mean, that's been shown many times over. One of the differences is that there's higher beneficial fatty acids, cis-9-trans-11-CLA, the one that's so popular now, and alpha-linolenic acid. There's also higher antioxidants like alpha-tocopherol, vitamin E, and carotenoids, vitamin A. But really, are they comparing conventional milk versus organic milk, or are they comparing pasture milk to conventional milk? Well, when we compare high-input conventional feeding to pasture feeding, and include both organic pasture feeding and non-organic pasture feeding, we see that you get the same benefit. There's higher beneficial fatty acids and antioxidants in milk from pasture feeding, regardless of if it's organic or inorganic. So when we compare organic pasture to inorganic pasture or non-organic pasture, what do we see? Well, there's no difference. Actually, the only difference they noted during the second half of the grazing season wasn't really significant, but there's more CLA and antioxidants from non-organic pasture feeding and lower alpha-linolenic acid in milk from pasture-fed cows who are fed organically. But when you put the cows into housing over the winter, there's no difference at all in the milk. And I guess what this should all lead us to as scientists is, do these differences, although they're measurable, do they translate into any measurable health benefit from consuming organic milk? Well, there was one study in the British Journal of Nutrition that found infants consuming organic milk had a reduced risk of eczema. But as for all the other studies, this is from just a current review of literature up in 2010, there isn't any evidence for any other health benefits from consuming organic milk. That doesn't mean that it's not better for you. There may be, but as so far the research doesn't say that's the case. So I guess the summation of that is we need to look at it more before we start making claims about which one's better for you or worse for you. So with that, I would entertain any questions you have.